Hi, I'm going to talk about Taylor and I's bill that we chose, and that's HB 1282. It states that the Office of the Secretary of Family and Social Services need to implement a substance abuse prevention program for elementary and high school students. It must be evidence-based and must add something to the community and to the students' social and emotional health. The bill also details some requirements for the programs. It was effective this July, July 2017, and it was authored by Holly Sullivan and co-authored by Wendy McNamara and Thomas Washburn, who are all three Republicans, and also co-authored by Ryan Hatfield, who's a Democrat. This is kind of unusual because usually different parties don't come together to co-author on one bill or law, but they could tell that this was very important, and so they knew that they needed to cross over lines and come together. This first caught my eye because I interned at Macmillan Health Center this summer, where I created a curriculum for a drug abuse prevention program for kindergartners and first graders. So immediately this caught my eye because it was something that I was interested in. Some previous attempts to this were the DARE program and other small programs, but nothing of this size, and no bills were ever created. Drug use and drug availability is widespread throughout the United States. Studies show that of students 12 to 19 years old, throughout all ages, more than 50% of them say that drugs are easily available to them at school. The policy description, in short, it says it's focused on social work and the substance abuse prevention. It requires that the Secretary of Social Services implements the evidence-based model and partners with schools to provide support for students, teachers, and parents, and then the community overall. HB 1282 is just for Indiana, but there's $200 billion for all of America if they would assess the policy. But it's also important to recognize that the goals of the policy are long-term and other states could follow. The goal of the policy is to educate and provide emotional and rehabilitation support to students who are involved in drugs or could potentially become involved with drugs. Trying to reduce drug use and availability to students contributes not only to the greater good of schools, but also to the greater good of communities. Sorry. And the Nassau Code of Ethics emphasizes the importance of commitment to client self-determination and informed consent of all three of these factors, and they are included on HB 1282.